By the time you finish watching this video, around 15 more Americans will have suffered a stroke. That's because, according to the CDC, over 795,000 people in the U.S. have a stroke every year, and nearly 610,000 of those are first-time strokes. What's even more concerning is this: 3 out of every 4 strokes happen in people over the age of 65. And yet, most of them don't see it coming. It's not just the suddenness, it's what comes after. The memory lapses, the unsteady legs, the silence in the room when a loved one can no longer speak. For older adults, stroke isn't just a medical event. It's a loss of independence, a loss of confidence, sometimes even a loss of identity. But here's the truth. Most people don't hear from their doctors. Up to 80% of strokes are preventable simply by managing risk factors like high blood pressure, cholesterol, and inflammation. And one of the simplest, most powerful ways to do that doesn't come from a prescription bottle. It comes from your kitchen. In today's video, we'll explore 6 everyday foods that have been shown in peer-reviewed studies to lower stroke risk, protect blood vessels, and nourish the brain, especially after age 60. And don't worry, these aren't exotic ingredients. They're foods you can find at any grocery store. So if you're serious about protecting your health, or the health of someone you love, take a moment, sit back, and stay with me. Because the right choices today could mean more mornings, more memories, and more time to enjoy the life you've built. 1. Dark chocolate. A sweet habit that could save your brain. Let me ask you something. Do you enjoy a little chocolate now and then? If you do, I have some good news for you. Because eating just a small amount of dark chocolate, yes, the kind with at least 70% cocoa, may actually help reduce your risk of stroke. There was a study in Sweden that followed over 37,000 older adults for more than 10 years. And what the researchers found was fascinating. Those who ate dark chocolate regularly had a 17% lower chance of having a stroke. Not because chocolate is magic, but because dark chocolate is full of something called flavonoids. These are natural compounds found in plants that help keep your blood vessels healthy and flexible. Flavonoids help your body produce nitric oxide, a gas that tells your blood vessels to relax and open up. That means better blood flow to your brain, lower blood pressure, and a smaller chance of clots forming. In fact, a team at Harvard Medical School ran a trial with seniors who had poor circulation to the brain. They gave them cocoa-rich in flavonoids, and within just 2 weeks, they saw noticeable improvements in blood flow and memory function. But dark chocolate isn't just about flavonoids. It also contains magnesium, which helps control blood pressure, and small amounts of theobromine and caffeine, which can give your brain a gentle boost without overstimulating your heart. Now, you might be wondering, how much is enough? Not much. Just 1 or 2 small squares a day, about the size of a tea bag, is all you need. I usually suggest eating it after lunch or dinner as a little dessert. Just make sure it's true dark chocolate, at least 70% cocoa, and preferably with low added sugar. But there are a few things to watch out for. First, don't go overboard. Even healthy chocolate is still high in calories. Too much can lead to weight gain, blood sugar spikes, and even acid reflux, especially if your digestion is sensitive. Second, be careful with sugar-free chocolate. Some of them use sugar alcohols like maltitol or sorbitol, which can cause bloating or diarrhea in older adults. And if you're taking blood pressure or antidepressant medications, check with your doctor before making dark chocolate a daily habit, because chocolate contains tyramine, which might interact with certain drugs. But for most seniors, when used right, a small piece of dark chocolate isn't a guilty pleasure. It's smart nutrition. It's one of the few treats that actually supports brain health, circulation, and long-term protection against stroke. So the next time you're craving something sweet, don't feel bad reaching for a square of the good stuff. Just make sure it's dark, pure, and eaten in moderation. Because sometimes prevention can be as simple as enjoying a little chocolate. 2. Beans and lentils. The heart-friendly protein that protects your brain. Let's talk about something simple, something most of us have in the pantry, but may not realize just how powerful it is. Beans and lentils. They're humble, affordable, and easy to cook. But for seniors over 60, they might just be one of the most important foods for preventing stroke. Here's why. Beans and lentils are packed with fiber, plant-based protein, potassium, magnesium, and especially folate, all of which play a direct role in protecting your heart and your brain. You see, one of the key causes of stroke in older adults is something called high homocysteine levels, an amino acid in the blood that damages your arteries and increases the risk of blood clots. And guess what helps lower it? Folate. In fact, a 2020 review in the journal Nutrients found that increasing folate intake from foods like lentils helped reduce homocysteine levels by up to 25%, which could translate to a significant drop in stroke risk, especially for older adults with hypertension or diabetes. But that's not all. A single cup of cooked lentils provides 15 grams of fiber, which helps lower cholesterol, 18 grams of protein, which supports muscle mass without excess fat, 730 milligrams of potassium, which helps regulate blood pressure naturally, and 90% of your daily folate needs. Compare that to red meat, which has no fiber, more saturated fat, and often contributes to inflammation and arterial plaque. In a large study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, adults who replaced red meat with legumes at least 3 times per week had a 30% lower risk of cardiovascular disease, including stroke. What I love most about beans and lentils is how easy they are to add to your meals. You don't need to be a chef. Just try adding a scoop of black beans to your salad, lentil soup with garlic and olive oil, or a simple bean and rice bowl for lunch. And for those with sensitive digestion, you can start slow, maybe a half cup a day, and gradually increase. Also, if you're worried about gas or bloating, try rinsing canned beans thoroughly or soaking dry beans overnight. That removes some of the compounds that cause discomfort. So the next time you're planning your meals, remember this. You don't need a fancy superfood to protect your brain. Sometimes, all it takes is a bowl of lentils and a drizzle of olive oil. Because stroke prevention doesn't start in a hospital. It starts in your kitchen. 3. Avocados, the creamy fruit that protects your arteries. Now, let's talk about something a little creamier, something that feels indulgent, but is actually one of the healthiest brain-protecting foods you can eat. Avocados. Yes, the same fruit you might slice onto toast or mash into guacamole. But for seniors, especially those concerned about stroke, it offers a whole lot more than just flavor. You see, avocados are rich in monounsaturated fats. These are the good fats, the kind that help lower LDL, bad cholesterol, and raise HDL, good cholesterol. And why does that matter? Because according to the American Heart Association, high cholesterol is one of the top risk factors for stroke, especially when it builds up as plaque in your arteries and restricts blood flow to the brain. But here's the encouraging part. In a study published in the Journal of the American Heart Association, researchers found that adults who ate 1 avocado per day had significantly lower levels of LDL cholesterol and better artery function overall. And that's just the beginning. Avocados are also rich in potassium, more than bananas in fact, which helps control blood pressure, magnesium, which supports steady heart rhythm, vitamin K, and folate, both essential for keeping blood vessels strong and preventing clot formation. In another long-term study from Harvard University, women who consumed monounsaturated fats from avocado instead of butter or processed oils had a 21% lower risk of stroke. And for seniors, this is especially important, because as we age, our blood vessels naturally lose elasticity. Avocados help keep them supple and smooth, improving circulation to the brain. So how can you add this to your day? You don't need to eat a whole avocado. Just a quarter to a half is plenty. You can mash it on whole grain toast, slice it into a salad, or blend it into a smoothie with berries and Greek yogurt. One small warning: avocados are high in calories, so if you're watching your weight or managing diabetes, portion control is key. But for most older adults, this is one of the easiest and most delicious ways to protect your heart, your brain, and your future. Because when you nourish your arteries, you give your brain the oxygen it needs. And stroke becomes much less likely to take you by surprise. Fixerfix, fatty fish, the brain's favorite protein. Now, let's move on to something that many doctors have been quietly recommending for years. Not just for the heart, but for the brain. I'm talking about fatty fish, like salmon, sardines, mackerel, and trout. Why fatty fish? Because they're the best natural source of omega-3 fatty acids, a type of healthy fat that helps reduce inflammation, improve blood circulation, and even protect your brain from damage. And when it comes to stroke prevention, the science is crystal clear. A 2021 review published in the journal Stroke looked at data from over 800,000 people and found that those who consumed fatty fish at least twice a week had a 13% lower risk of ischemic stroke, the most common type, caused by blood clots that block blood flow to the brain. Omega-3s do this by lowering triglycerides, a type of fat in your blood, reducing plaque, buildup in arteries, improving flexibility of blood vessels, and preventing abnormal blood clotting. Fatty fish also provide a generous dose of vitamin D, which supports blood vessel health and reduces inflammation. B12, which protects nerve function and supports memory, and high-quality protein, which helps maintain muscle strength as we age. But there's more. In one study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, seniors who ate salmon twice a week showed improved cognitive scores and better blood flow to the brain, even if they had no history of heart disease. So, how can you add this to your routine? Try baking a salmon fillet with olive oil and lemon, or make a quick sardine sandwich on whole grain bread. Even a can of mackerel in water paired with steamed vegetables, can be a powerful anti-stroke meal. And for those who don't like the fishy taste, try using herbs like dill, parsley, or lemon zest to make it more palatable. One note of caution: be mindful of mercury levels in certain fish. Avoid large predatory species like shark or king mackerel. Stick to wild salmon, sardines, and trout. They're safer and lower in mercury. Also, avoid frying. Fried fish has been shown in some studies to increase stroke risk because of the unhealthy fats used in cooking. So remember, twice a week is enough. You don't have to eat it every day, just consistently. Because feeding your brain the right kind of fat could help you stay sharper, longer, and avoid that trip to the ER that starts with a sudden fall or a blank stare. 5. Berries. The tiny fruit that guards your brain. Sometimes the most powerful things come in the smallest packages, and when it comes to protecting your brain and preventing stroke, berries, yes, those blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, might be the unsung heroes of your diet. These colorful little fruits are packed with antioxidants called anthocyanins. That's the compound that gives berries their deep red and blue colors, and more importantly, their ability to reduce inflammation, improve blood vessel health, and boost circulation to the brain. In a study from Harvard University, researchers tracked the diets of over 93,000 women aged 25 to 70 for 18 years. What they found was striking. Women who ate berries at least 3 times per week had a 32% lower risk of stroke than those who ate them rarely. And this isn't just about women. Similar findings were reported in a study of older men by the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, where regular berry intake was associated with better memory, faster cognitive reaction time, and even lower blood pressure. But how exactly do berries do this? They help relax your arteries, prevent blood clots, and protect your blood vessels from aging, all major risk factors for stroke. They also help regulate blood sugar, which is important because diabetes increases stroke risk significantly in seniors. And the best part? They're easy to eat. No cooking, no prep, no excuses. You can toss a handful of blueberries into your morning oatmeal. Add a few strawberries to Greek yogurt. Even keep frozen berries in the freezer and blend them into a smoothie. And don't worry about the cost. Frozen berries are just as nutritious as fresh, and they last longer too. Here's a tip. Aim for 1/2 to 1 cup per day, at least 3 to 4 times per week. And try to mix colors, because each type of berry brings a different set of brain-boosting nutrients. One final note. Skip the canned stuff packed in syrup. Those added sugars can cancel out the benefits. Stick with fresh, frozen, or unsweetened dried berries whenever possible. So the next time you open the fridge and see that little bowl of blueberries, know this: you're not just eating fruit. You're feeding your brain. You're protecting your balance. And you're lowering your risk of one of the most life-altering events that can happen after 60. 6th, leafy greens, the everyday vegetable that can help prevent stroke. We've talked about chocolate, beans, avocados, fish, and berries. But if you asked most doctors, they'd probably agree on one thing. Leafy green vegetables might be the single most important food for stroke prevention. And yet, many seniors don't eat enough of them. Spinach, kale, collard greens, Swiss chard, arugula. These aren't just healthy choices. They are like medicine, Natural medicine for your arteries and brain. Here's why. Leafy greens are rich in folate, vitamin K, magnesium, potassium, and nitrates. A powerful combination that helps lower blood pressure, relax, and widen your blood vessels. Improve circulation to the brain and prevent clot formation, which is the root cause of most strokes. In a study published in the journal Stroke, researchers followed over 90,000 women for 14 years. They found that those who ate more leafy greens had a 20 to 30% lower risk of ischemic stroke, the most common type, caused by blood clots. Another review from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that just one daily serving of green vegetables can lower homocysteine levels, a harmful compound in the blood that damages arteries, and lowering homocysteine by 25% can reduce stroke risk significantly. Leafy greens also contain dietary nitrates, which your body converts into nitric oxide, a compound that helps relax blood vessels and improve oxygen delivery to your brain. In one clinical trial, seniors who consumed nitrate-rich spinach daily had measurably improved arterial function in just 1 week. Now, I know some people don't like the taste of kale or collard greens, but the good news is, you don't need to eat them raw or plain. You can sauté spinach with garlic and olive oil, blend kale into a smoothie with banana and berries, or toss arugula into a salad with a light vinaigrette. Aim for at least 1 cooked cup per day, or 2 cups raw. If you're on blood thinners like warfarin, just talk to your doctor before drastically increasing greens, because vitamin K affects clotting, and your medication dose may need adjusting. But don't let that stop you. You can still enjoy them with a little planning. Leafy greens are easy to overlook. They don't come in bright packaging or big advertisements, but they quietly do their job, nourishing your blood vessels, reducing inflammation, and feeding your brain. So the next time you sit down to eat, ask yourself, did I feed my brain today? Sometimes, stroke prevention isn't about a miracle drug. It's about choosing spinach over fries, collards over cream, and giving your body what it's been asking for all along. So let's take a moment to look back. 6 simple foods: dark chocolate, beans and lentils, avocados, fatty fish, berries, and leafy greens. No exotic ingredients, no expensive pills, just everyday foods that you can find at any grocery store. But don't let their simplicity fool you. Because when you choose these foods, you're not just feeding your body, you're sending a signal to your heart, to your brain, to every blood vessel in your body, that you're still in charge, that you still want more mornings, more memories, and more strength in every step. You don't have to do everything all at once. Start with one small change: a few berries in the morning, a serving of beans at lunch, a square as dark chocolate after dinner. Because over time, these little choices, they become protection. They become power. They become the quiet guardians of your independence. And if this video helped you, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing it with someone you care about. A spouse, a parent, a friend. Because stroke doesn't wait, but neither do we. Thank you for watching. Take care of your body, and it will take care of you.